16 years after my mother's affair, my dad still refuses to date. My father has always been my superhero. He worked full-time and still managed to put me on the bus every morning. He raised my sister and I entirely on his own. He put me through school, helped me get my first car. He was there for every birthday, graduation. Any difficult time I was going through, he dropped everything and drive hours to make sure I was okay. I never had a close relationship with my mother, nor do I have many fond memories of her. She had severe insecurities about herself that she projected onto me at a very young age. She would purposely give me ugly haircuts because sometimes she felt I was prettier than her. She would force me to take photos of her for hours until she got the perfect one for her Facebook profile. She was a deeply insecure person and tended to seek out validation online. I was 9 years old when my parents separated. At the time, I was actually excited because my friend's parents were divorced and I thought it was so cool he had 2 Christmases. I didn't understand what was happening and also didn't remember anything about my mother's infidelity until I was a teenager. I was around 15 when everything started to come back after a traumatic experience I went through. I vividly began to remember the first time I, as a 7-year-old, walked in on my mother doing it with a man she cheated on my dad with, who she is still with to this day. He, I'm going to call him Greg, was a guy she went to high school with. They reconnected through Facebook, and unbeknownst to my dad, she began a secret relationship with him. As a kid, I'd always get frustrated because I'd want to play computer games, but my mom was always on Facebook. And I now understand that was because she was communicating with this guy. There were also other men too, but Greg was the most serious. My mother decided she wanted to escalate and begin meeting with Greg in person. She would use the excuse that she was going to visit her father. Meanwhile, she was going to see Greg. The worst part about this is that she would bring my sister and I with her and force us to go to his place and play with his kids. They first met up again at an A&W, something my sister still blames herself for. As kids, our go-to fast food place was Wendy's, so it was particularly odd that this road trip she suggested A&W. I said no, and my sister said yes, so we went to A&W. To my mom's surprise, Greg was there. I now realize through years of therapy that this was all pre-planned and a way to make their meeting up and hanging at his house look more casual. My mom didn't consider the fact that this decision would make my sister blame herself for my parents' marriage falling apart, all because she said yes to going to A&W. When we went to his house for the first time, his daughter was quite mean to me as she was a bit older, and one time she had hit me while we were playing. So I went to go tell my mom and walked into the room and saw them doing it. I didn't understand what was happening and I immediately began to cry, as I thought he was attacking her. I ran to my sister to tell her, and my mom came running out and made us promise not to tell our dad. The scene is still burned into my mind. Months went by and the guilt grew. My mom started being less sneaky, and my dad actually walked past the computer one time and saw messages being exchanged between Greg and her. He immediately left the house in shambles, and my mom chased after him. They talked, and she said my dad didn't love her enough. My dad promised to do better, and my mom promised she would stop talking to Greg. She didn't. Eventually, when I was 8, my dad accepted that he had lost her completely and they started planning their separation. He reminded my mom that she would be responsible for keeping in contact with us, my sister and me, not the other way around. He wanted to make it as easy on my sister and me as possible. My mom said she understood. When I was 9, my mom packed her things and moved across the country. She tried keeping connections with us through Skype, but the calls got fewer and fewer. She eventually abandoned us completely. My father has never seen a single dime from her and has raised us completely alone financially. This caused issues when my dad tried to finalize the divorce, but my dad reassured us that he didn't need her money. He was always so selfless and kind. He never spoke a single bad thing about my mother. My mother began posting on Facebook saying she can't understand why my dad didn't chase after her, and that's what she wanted. She didn't want it to come to this. My mom is literally insane. To this day, she still talks badly about my dad. I am now 23 and I still hold guilt over keeping my mom's affair from my dad. My dad has never tried dating again. He shut out his entire circle of friends and became very isolated. The only people, he says, that matter in his life are my sister and me. My dad never sought out therapy, despite my sister and me constantly encouraging it. He is now 65, and it's unbearable seeing him be alone. His trust was completely shattered, and it completely changed him as a person. I wonder if, because he had to raise both my sister and me, he felt he had no time to focus on himself and his own well-being. I want my dad to be happy, and I can tell that he still struggles with these issues greatly every day. I still feel like if I had told him what happened earlier, maybe things would be better. Maybe he would have been able to move on and find someone who loved him genuinely, or maybe he wouldn't have become so isolated. I still want him to go to therapy, but nothing I say to him changes his mind, though I feel he would greatly benefit from it. I want him to be able to date again or even just go out with friends again, but I don't know how to encourage him to do this. Recently, my mom has tried to reconnect with me, but I want absolutely nothing to do with her. She said she was sorry for ruining our lives, and her words felt empty and crass. I don't know how to respond to my mom or if I should even respond at all. I don't know if I'll ever be able to have a relationship with my mother again after what she did to my dad. Now for the top comments. Holy smokes, this was an intense read. I cannot imagine the hell you and your family faced. My suggestion is, if possible, are there any clubs nearby your father is interested in you can perhaps have him enroll in? For example, maybe a fishing, hiking, etc. club he can begin to meet people at? Maybe even you and your sister can attend it with him a few times to try it out so he can steadily begin to expand his circle in case he rejects therapy for now. Good luck, Opie. I highly recommend going out together with him, either just you or you and your sister. That way, it comes off more as a subtle push to get him to start living his life again. Since he only really cares about you too, making it a family experience would be more likely to gain his willingness. As for your mom, I've got nothing. Personally, I don't think I could have a relationship with her in your situation. This is what cheating does. It destroys people. I would just let her go. She's not a good person. Infidelity is a form of abuse. Let it be the wedge that it is. I wanted to mention something I forgot to bring up. In a message she recently sent me, she also said my sister and I are the only ones on her and Greg's will. His children were also cut off. She had a large hand in that happening, and they no longer associate with either of them. It feels like this also was super selfish of her and a way to basically force me to respond. I have not. I think she realized they both have no one around now they're getting older and need more care, and maybe thought this was a way to establish a connection with my sister and I again. Your mom's reconnecting may be that she realized she has no one to care for her in old age. She may need her daughter's help now. She realized that now that she reached the age where if something were to happen, she is alone. I would let her know you only have one parent, the one that didn't abandon the family. She can make it up by never contacting any of you again. This is honestly definitely it. After my mom left and abandoned us, she encouraged Greg to also cut off his kids. He did, and they also lost contact with him and now want nothing to do with either of them. I am still in contact with his two kids, and they told me everything that mom also did to them. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to forgive my mom and uncle for what they did to dad? When I, 23 female, was 9, my dad passed away in an accident. It was hard for me and my brothers, 25 male and 21 male, because all of us were very close to him. Mom was a stay-at-home mom, so suddenly she was without support, and things became really tough for us in the months that followed. After about a year, our uncle, dad's younger brother, contacted mom and began visiting us regularly. He took good care of us and helped out a lot. We all really liked him. Later, he asked mom out, and she said yes. It was strange to see her with him, but we were young and wanted her to be happy. Our uncle also promised to take care of us. Over time, I grew to see him as a stepdad and loved him like that. They got married 3 years after dad died, and now they have 2 kids together. My brothers and I really did love him and were happy for mom. Whenever I felt like dad was replaced, because both mom and uncle were very respectful about his place in our lives. A few months ago, my brother, 25 male, was clearing out the attic at our old house and found mom's diary. It turns out mom had been having an affair with uncle for years. and she admitted to seriously doubting whether if all or any of us were really Dad's children. It was disgusting to learn about all this so many years later. Dad had only recently found out about the affair, and a few weeks later, he was gone. I guess now I know why he suddenly became an alcoholic and decided to drink and drive despite always telling us to think of family before taking risks. My brother confronted Mom, and everything sort of blew up. Uncle tried to intervene, but my brother almost attacked him. It was unbelievable, really. We had been a happy, almost normal family for years since Dad passed, and now it's completely wrecked. Both my brothers have completely cut off Mom, and any mention of them not being Dad's children results in them hurling all sorts of insults at her. My half-siblings have become withdrawn and don't really talk to Mom either. Most of our extended family is shunning her and our uncle. He keeps saying he just loved Mom and nothing else. He even tried saying he loved us whether we were his kids or not, but it only makes me feel more disgusted. Mom recently called me, begging me to talk to my brothers and asking that we try to get back together as a family. She said she wouldn't throw away the family at home we'd built over the years. She claims she mourned Dad for years and was respectful of him for years before getting together with Uncle, which I called BS on. I told her I didn't want to see her and that there is no way any of us can forgive her for what she did to Dad. Mom said I was being needlessly cruel and that it was vile to throw her out of our lives after she cared for us all these years. My boyfriend agrees with her. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Damn, this is rough. Mom is blaming you guys for breaking up a family, but that family was based on lies, and she lied to you over years that never came clear. Your dad turning to alcohol and pass away in a car crash for drunk driving, and then you finding out that his alcohol use started when he found out about his wife cheating on him with his brother, makes everything so much worse. They literally drove him into alcohol use that led to his untimely death, robbing you of your father. This is so awful, and both don't even own up to their mistakes. I only did it for love. Nope, he did it for himself. Next thing you know, but we are a family. So was your dad, and see what they did to him. Damn, I don't even have words. They both were selfish. Your uncle did his brother wrong. Your mom did her husband wrong, which directly led to his death. Don't want to hear about family and how they should stick together. Everything was in the past. Don't hold a grudge. They are together now. They got what they wanted, your father out of the way. Now they have to live with the consequences of their decision. There is a special place in hell for people like this. Block them and move on. Timeline. If it is possible that your eldest brother could be the uncles, then the affair was going on for at least 12 years prior to your father's death. 12 years. 3 possible pregnancies. How long were they even married before the affair started? You should all get your DNA tested, so at least you know who your bio father is. If they could lie to all of you for all those years and instead of your mother divorcing your father, slowly caused his death, then that is not love. Not for anyone. What was your mother getting from your father? If she loved the brother, she should have gotten a divorce and married him. The brother should have spoken to your father rather than watching him off himself. Last story. After my dad's passing, my mom started seeing a younger guy from his soccer team. I'm torn between anger and heartbreak. I'm 28 male from a small town in northern Sweden, the kind of place where everyone knows each other, and most families have lived here for generations. My dad was a bit of a local legend, well-liked, respected, and someone people could rely on. For over 30 years, he volunteered as the equipment manager for our local amateur soccer team, without pay, purely out of love for the game and the team. Back in the day, he even played on a team himself. You could count the games he missed on one hand. My mom, 52 female, works as a journalist for a local newspaper and covers everything from politics to sports. She would sometimes come to the games, especially if she was writing an article, but she never had the same passion for it that my dad did. 6 months ago, the team got a new player, a guy 25 male from Somalia. Our sports manager met him during a trip to Africa and recruited him. He wasn't a professional, but he was one of the best players the team had in a while. My dad liked him a lot, and after wins, he would take the whole team to McDonald's, treating all the players like they were his kids, including this new guy. Then, about 4 months ago, everything changed. My dad passed away suddenly. Losing him was a shock for my mom and me, and the whole town mourned him. So many people showed up at his funeral, it felt like the entire town was there. Even the soccer team held a moment of silence and dedicated a tribute to him at the next game. It was a beautiful send-off and felt like the right farewell. After he was gone, my mom started attending the games more often, finding some kind of comfort there. She also started working on a project about the team's history, interviewing several players, including the Somali guy. Eventually, I started to notice things. I'd often see this guy around my mom's neighborhood. Sometimes, I'd see him leaving the area or jogging nearby. At first, I didn't think much of it, but over time, it started to bother me. He was around way too often. A few weeks ago, during fall break, I went with my wife and kids to visit her family in southern Sweden. A few days later, I got a call from my best friend. He sounded hesitant and almost uncomfortable, which made me worried. Then he told me something that completely shocked me. Apparently, he had seen this guy from the soccer team leaving my mom's house. I was stunned and couldn't believe what I was hearing. I refused to believe it. When I got back home after the break, I was still just as confused and worried. A few nights later, I was on my way to visit my mom, but when I arrived and saw the house in the dark, I had a sudden impulse to stay out of sight. I crept around to the back, carefully made my way through the garden and moved toward the windows at the back of the house. When I looked through the living room window, I saw something that made my heart stop. My mom was sitting on a couch, snuggled up with that guy from the team. They were leaning into each other, and it was clear they were cozying up together. The sight froze me in place, and everything inside me just twisted. The shock and betrayal. I don't even know how I got home. I've cried more in the past week than I thought was possible. I can't wrap my head around it. This is the same guy my dad had welcomed into the team and treated like a son. Imagining him in my dad's house with my mom feels like a violation of everything my dad built, everything he loved. I feel sick, like my dad's memory has been tarnished and disrespected, and he's probably turning in his grave. I haven't spoken to my mom since then. I feel like she's disrespected my dad's memory, and so did a guy. I'm devastated. Do you feel this way because of the timing? How much time has passed since your father died and this discovery? Is it also because of the age difference? Honestly, it's everything, from the timing to the very inappropriate age gap. This also feels deeply disrespectful to my dad's memory. He was a huge fan of this team, something that was really special to him and to us as a family. To see someone step into this role in his absence, especially with such a big emotional connection to my dad, feels like a betrayal on so many levels. I'm just shocked that this is happening so soon and that she's with this guy in specific.